Hello and welcome to Twerk, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing people, the fantastic jobs they do, and the paths that led them to where they are today. I'm in an amazing warehouse with Natasha. Hi, Natasha.
Hello.
Could you tell the listener what it is you do for a living?
Yeah, so I sell steering and suspension parts for cars,
Yep.
specifically nuts and bolts, and I sell them for all makes and models. So what I do is I mainly wholesale, so I distribute to shops in the UK.
Yeah.
And alongside that as well, I work as a mechanic 1 day a week, so I understand what I'm selling a little bit more.
Amazing. I've been so excited to hear your
thank
story.
you.
It's just so cool though. Right. We're going to hear all of that, but we're going to track back and we're going to talk about little Natasha.
Okay.
So when you were younger, what were you like? What were you into?
So my family were quite strict, so I was quite disciplined actually.
Okay.
Yeah. What was I into? I was quite studious, very academic,
Well,
very academic, very
oh.
into my maths, my English.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not so much fixing things. That came like later on in life.
Okay.
But more maths, English, science, studying.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
so you're just like the perfect student then.
Yeah.
And were you good? Were you a good girl?
Yeah, so like late, yeah, I was, yeah. And even later, I still study now, especially with the field I'm in. Yeah,
Yes,
so
yeah.
I enjoy it, yeah.
Wow, okay. So really into your academia. What did you go on to college? Did you?
Yeah, so I finished school, then I went to college, then I went to university and I did marketing.
Okay.
I went on 2 grad schemes for 2 big companies, but I didn't like it. That's the truth.
Wow.
I worked for a market research company and it was great, but it just wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
That's very desk based and very different to what you're doing.
Yeah, and I would find it difficult to sit there, and I was working predominantly with men, and I would find it they wouldn't go for lunch breaks, and I would find that really bizarre. So,
and there's just no probably chatter, was there?
No, it was very just like quiet. Don't talk about your week, like that.
Yeah.
And then I did another grad scheme, but that was at a different company, at a car rental company.
Okay.
So I think that's how I started to get into the whole car thing.
Yeah.
And then my family are in the car business and they were like, start your own thing. And then I took out a loan and this is where I am now.
Wow.
So
okay, hang on though, but if we just track back though, because we can't skip.
Yeah.
So what did you do at college? What was your A levels or whatever?
IT, sociology, and business studies. Yeah, business such a long time ago.
Okay, so good with computers. Then.
Yeah.
Okay, and then where did you go to uni?
Hertfordshire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I did marketing there. Yeah.
And did you really think you wanted to go into marketing, or was it just
like I sort of did the degree for the sake of doing a degree? At that time, it was like the basic entry level that you had to have to get a job, if that makes sense. But now it has helped. Like I studied,
of course.
it has helped.
Because you run your own business.
Yeah.
Okay, so did 2 grad schemes. So what left? So that's now 2 years after uni, and just thinking, this just isn't for me.
Yeah, I was just like trying different jobs, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I was fortunate at the time. I was of living at home, so I was fortunate to have that decision where I could make a choice.
Yeah.
And then,
and I guess your family run their own business. Do they?
No, my mother is a retired civil servant.
Okay.
And then my father, he's also retired, but he used to be in the same type of industry doing the same thing.
So that entrepreneurial spirit is
yeah, it's there. And my mum's good with like the bookkeeping and helping like that.
Yeah.
And then my father, even though he's retired, he helps with the logistics at times because he's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And then my little boy helps as well. And we all get involved.
Okay, so what spurred? So you're just sitting at home going, I don't know what I want to do. Yeah. You've got to talk us through that process.
So I went into, it wasn't this warehouse, another warehouse where my father was. And I was like, I could be good at this because I've been brought up around all these parts all my life. Yeah. So I was like, but I always fought him saying, I don't want to do it. So that's why I went to do the grad schemes. And he was like, yeah, but you should be really in the family business. And I was like, I don't want to. I was really strong and like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
So then I was there one day and I saw like what I sell, a bolt on the Oh, when I want one, there's none. But what I sell as a bolt on the table, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I went to research it, and then he was like, why don't you go take out a loan? I thought he was going to give me the money, but he didn't. I was like, what do you mean a loan? What is it?
Yeah.
So then I did that. I did a whole business plan, which is where I think university helped.
Yeah.
And I went in and I said, look, I want to buy these products, but obviously I need the money for investment.
Yeah.
It was a small loan.
To buy stock.
Yeah. It was really small. And at the time, it was easier to get a loan, maybe.
Yeah, I can believe that, yeah.
But it was just, and they were really helpful. I had an amazing accountant who really helped me and was there by my side, really, truly believed in me. Like, I was there in the meeting and I was like, I remember I was trembling because I was like, I'm doing this, but I didn't expect it to be actually happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, you've got what lots of women have, which is you're full of imposter syndrome, aren't you?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, and then they gave it, and then I slowly started buying products, importing them over, and then creating a customer base.
And did you have a space at that point?
A small space.
Yeah, you had to rent a small space.
Yeah. So I was renting a small space, nowhere near as big as this, but a smaller space, and then slowly I grew. But what actually happened was I fell pregnant 3 months into this happening.
Starting the business. Wow.
And I was like, what? I've just taken out this loan. I've started this business. How can I do this pregnant? You know, because it's, what I do is quite a physical job. Yes. Even though I do the running of it, but I like to get involved and pack the orders and oversee everything.
Yeah.
And at the time when I was starting, I couldn't hire staff. So because I couldn't hire staff, I was physically doing it all myself. And I was like, how am I meant to do this? I'm going to just get bigger and bigger. And so
my gosh.
The basis is, as my son's grown, my business has grown.
Yeah.
Because I have the time. You know, like, as a mom, you have like different difficulties. When they're younger, they need you more. Yeah. As he gets older, he needs me less, but more in different ways.
So I'm guessing, so literally you were just, it was like a baby Bjorn, strapping baby on and in.
Yeah. Bring him here and he'll be in the car seat.
Yeah.
So he's brought up around this a lot. And then sometimes I get his friends to come in the half term and I'll be like, you know, I'll give you something.
Yeah,
but I also like to teach them.
Yeah.
So, they enjoy it.
The amount of young kids today that don't know anything about cars is scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely bizarre.
So in the summer holidays, I run a little car club. And I get, So I started it, but, so I use, my son and his friends will come. Yeah. And then we'll practice because I don't know how to set it up just yet as a full thing because there's a lot of elements into it.
Well, okay, so, right, let's not, obviously I'm fascinated with all of this. So, starting your parts business. Yeah. Obviously having a child. And then when does it then go into the mechanic side then?
Oh, that was when COVID hit. Right. So COVID really affected me. I lost everything because there was no one was driving.
So how long had you been going at that point?
By that point, 6 years.
Okay, so you were relatively established.
Yeah, I was doing well. And then COVID came, no one was driving, no one wanted parts. I couldn't bring parts into the country. Yeah. I was completely at the bottom. I was like, what?
Well, also, just before that, did you have Brexit as well?
Yeah, so
you had the shitty Brexit.
Yeah, so that affected bringing goods in and the currency rate.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of variables coming in. And then...
kind of got over Brexit, not exactly, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, so that was the time where obviously I wasn't doing anything, homeschooling, which was not the greatest, but...
No. Oh, God, yeah.
Yes.
So we're just going to say yes and nod. Yeah.
So then, when everyone would go on those long walks. Yeah. So
everybody did.
The weather
was really nice, wasn't it?
So I was walking with my son, and I walked past this all-female garage where I worked, which is called Spanners with Manners. Yeah. So as I was walking past, my son was like, "Oh, what about that?" And then my brother, I was like, did you know there's an all-female garage on our road? And I always had like little jobs here and there doing stuff, but I was like, I've never actually done a job with what I sell. Yes. And I know at that point I knew all my parts and I know what they do, but I didn't know the rest of it. Yeah. So I know suspension really well, but I didn't know the engine or electrics and everything. Yeah.
So I guess you knew a lot of it in theory.
Yeah. but not like
hands-on
actually
practical. Yeah.
Like I was like, I've got the part, would I know how to fit it?
Yeah.
And then I remember sitting there like, that's not good, is it? Like, you know, just thinking I've done well to be this far, but because I sell to, I guess it's a bit corporate, you know, when you're selling, it's like less practical. So then,
I guess, were they open at that time? I guess they
no,
were.
they were closed.
Yes.
And then,
so you just walked past it closed, or
yeah, but then they're key workers at that time, so it was it was just after COVID, I think, like that summer.
Yeah.
So then, my mother and my brother were like, go in, just give your CV. And I was like, CV? I was like, I haven't wrote a CV in like 10 years. I was like, what are they going to do? They're going to look at my CV and think I'm a joke because I haven't, you know. But also at the time I was studying mechanics. So I was studying, I forgot. Yeah,
you're skipping around.
Yeah, sorry. So I was studying. As I got more into my business and as my son grew more, I was like, I need to know a little bit more. So I went to do a level 1 at a really good college in West London. Yeah. And I had an amazing teacher. Like, it was an adult-only class, and it was very small. There was only 4 to 5 of us.
Oh, nice.
And he just had, I was very daunted, like, even though I sold the parts. And he's like, why are you here? I was just like, just so I have knowledge as I progress through this industry.
Do you know what though? Sorry, I'm not going to, because I want to hear all of this, but I think this is a real female thing as well, because you're there acutely aware that you're in a man's world, aren't you? And you're like, I have got to
be a step above.
Whereas a guy would just BS his way through it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A guy, well, I don't need to do any qualifications.
Yeah. And I get it a lot. What was happening? I would go to sell, but then I was like, they don't like.
Yeah.
Well, some of them knew because they'd worked and they've studied, and I was like, no, I need to have that edge too. So I did think
to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and I was like, I take him seriously because he's told me he's got an engineering degree, so it's vice versa. Yeah, but
be completely rushed.
So I went to do a level 1, then I did a level 2, but that's when COVID hit. And then that's when I already got more mechanical knowledge, but it was only once a week going in. It wasn't the same. And then I gave this CV, and they were so nice. They were like, just go home, put on some scruffy clothes and come back. And to be honest, so I've been there 5 months.
So you walked in, handed a CV, you hadn't rung in advance.
No, and
you just went in, said, I'd love to work here. And they said, go home, get some and come back.
Yeah, because it's not often that you would get a female. No. And I told them I'm studying and I sell car parts, so they knew as well. Okay,
oh my God, you're like a dream. Weren't you? And you're just absolutely stunningly beautiful. You were like, oh my God.
So they were really good to me. And then I did an apprenticeship, but it was weird because I was 33, 34, doing an apprenticeship. I was like, I've gone really back. You know, part of my ego also was like, oh, I've had to go so back. Does that make sense? Because I was here and then I went down. And now I've gone back
but that's
up again.
COVID and everything else doing that to you
and
as
also
well.
life, but it happens like now I work with her once a week. I can, even in my free time, if I want to, I can fix my car. Or say you came here, I could actually genuinely help you from what I've learned. And the people when I work there, I can take my videos. I can, if I'm like, oh, can I just check this part fits that car?
Yeah.
And now when I do go to meetings or I go to sell, people can see the real passion in me. Does that make sense? Like they can see the real, oh, she really does know what she's talking about. Because I'm like, this particular part breaks and it breaks at this time and the mechanic needs it. So you need to buy it off me.
Yeah, yeah.
And when they say no, I'm like, trust me, you'll call me back. Which is a bit cocky, but it's funny as well. My industry is very banterous. It's not very like...
Well, it's male, isn't it? It's just so unbelievably male. Okay, so how long was the apprenticeship then?
For 2.5 years.
Yeah,
3 years.
And did you have to go to college alongside?
So like 2 months into me working there, they pulled me in the office and they were like, we want to offer you an apprenticeship. And I was like, obviously now business started to take off again. So I did the apprenticeship, but they were really accommodating that I did the set hours that you needed for the apprenticeship. And then halfway through, I actually had to leave the apprenticeship because I was like, I can't financially do the apprenticeship, be a mum, run a house, and business is getting better because that's, unfortunately, when you're an apprentice, it's the
Yes,
It's not
of
good
course
paper.
it is. No,
And I
it's
think
not.
that's also stopping a lot of people from maybe doing things, because
Yeah.
apprenticeship is difficult, but it's great when you're young and if you live at home and you can do
When you
the
haven't
boat.
got commitments, yeah.
And then I remember the ladies at work, they were like, that's fine, we completely understand. The college was so understanding as well. And then a year after, they were like, do you want to come back? And the college was really accommodating.
Were they?
And work was really accommodating, because I felt really let down that I didn't finish it.
You felt that you let yourself down?
Yeah, I was like, I was upset because I love studying. So I was, part of me was like, I did so far and I was this close. And even the boys in my class, because it was predominantly male, I was the only girl in my class.
Yeah.
And they were young and I didn't get their slang and I would feel a bit, but they were so lovely. I walked out like, I hope my son's like one of these boys. You know, they wouldn't, because maybe they're young, they were like, oh, so I'm taking I'm taking the tire off. They won't be like, oh, do you want your hands? And they would buy my products as well. They'll be like, no, Tash, we'll support you. They're posting it and they're young and they're doing all these things. And I'm like, oh, I'm learning, you know.
Wow.
They were really good. So I finished my apprenticeship and then I qualified as a level 3. And it was tough. I cried during my exam. It was a really tough assessment over 2 days.
But also, you're probably there like with loads of self-doubt and other things going on.
And the assessment is where someone's watching you. Like,
literally over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's your nerves as well. And there's so many, and you know you can do it, but even if even if I was packing the parts and you're watching me now, I'll probably like pack it, you know, but I do it all the time. But even at college, I was like, I had an amazing teacher who was so patient with me.
Wow.
Like, even when I would have a tantrum, sometimes I would have a tantrum. I'd be like, I don't want to do this. And he'll be like, it's okay. Like, you can get it. But it wasn't because I didn't want to do it. It's the stress of everything else, you know? Like, at the same time, the emails are going off.
And you're there, is this the right thing?
Yeah, is this worth it? Because I'm not getting paid for the day that I'm here. So I'm really giving up. I'm putting the little boy in after school club. And then when I'm studying, I'm like taking time away. You know, my mum time.
Yeah.
And he was quite small then. So it was like, how does a child understand, why is my mum doing this? But then by the time I did my assessment, I think he was 9 and he was so cute. He was like, I came home and I was like, I failed and I lay on the floor and he was like, no, ma'am, you're going to pass because you said you'll buy me this. And I was like, oh, yeah.
So you do 1 day a week with Spanners with Manners then? And is it women bringing cars in, or do men use
all mixed.
Oh, okay.
All mixed,
so it really is, because I wasn't sure about that. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I know
just the female team work.
Yes, yeah. But guys bring their cars in.
Yeah. And they sometimes, like, when they come in, they're like, oh. But it says it outside, so they know.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like...
And do you think how many people come in do they think it's like a novelty thing? Or... Because I think for a lot of guys, and maybe, like I say, maybe it's an age thing, to even trust a female garage, they'd be like, I'm not taking my car there.
Like that, yeah.
I'm not taking my car there. They wouldn't know what the fuck, you know, they won't know what they're doing, kind of thing. So, I mean, so what type of, or is there no type of guys that bring their car
No,
in?
it's all mixed. It's all really mixed. And she's been established a long time, so...
Her reps. Her reps good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you're working as a mechanic 1 day a week. You're then still doing your parts business.
Yeah.
Where does this go? What's next?
I just keep building the range, making it bigger and bigger. And now I've learned how to use social media a bit better, which I have found has been great at helping me promote, because the reach is it is great.
Crazy. Yeah.
And the more cars I work on, the more I see what goes wrong and what part I need to start buying. So I just feel like as my son grows, this will grow and grow, and I'll have more time, because as he gets older, he'll start, oh my god, kind of thing. He'll fly the nest eventually, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, what do I
do?
Yeah.
But equally, like we've just been sort of indicating, this is a scary industry for women that aren't, like, you know, I'm a single mum.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if, you know, one of the reasons I bought a relatively new car that would be under warranty, because I was like, just going to go to a garage and get ripped off, they're going to just say stuff to me and so, you know, you pay more. The amount of women that probably pay more for cars or whatever, just because you know,
because it's
the security of it. So there's definitely so much more I think you and the girls at Spanners with Manners could do to just really help and teach women more about their own cars. Because again, and with you particularly, they can then buy the parts off it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a case of going, right, you know. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what you'd like to do, because if you obviously, I mean, you're totally got the look for it.
Oh, thank you.
But do you know what
Eventually,
I mean?
like I did a few videos showing, but it's just having the time, isn't it? Because when the orders come in, obviously the priority is to pack the orders, and then I think more teaching children is what I want to go for, because I feel they're too busy on their phones.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
well, and there's a scary amount of, like we were saying, so young people aren't doing their driving test. They're not buying cars because they're not.
And it's so expensive. So I find, like, even when the young girls like have come with like my sons and they've done the little thing, like it's showing them, then they'll go back to their parents. Like one of the sons, he went back to his mum and he was like, "Mum, I just checked the oil in your car." And then he's teaching her. So that's also giving them bonding time. And that's also helping women indirectly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And even the dad, but she was like, "No, you should do this." And they were so supportive. They let me post the video and, you know, like, put it out there. So in the summer holidays,
do it more.
And even just showing them the parts, so as they grow they'll know, you know. So like what I do, the nuts and bolts, I want to become like a master in it. So anytime someone
almost
snaps
like a sourcing specialist.
So my phone is always going off because they're like, "Have you got this bolt? Have you got that bolt?"
Okay.
But from working under the cars, even if the bolt's not specifically that number, I know it will do the job.
Okay.
So I'm going to be the sourcing master. That's what I'm going to be.
All the source. What do you call it? Sorceress.
Yeah, something like that.
We're just going to come up with a shit name for you. Put that under my. Brilliant though. Because that is a real problem in the industry, and you're there. You're a woman solving it. I love that.
And that's what, when people are like, why do you do this? I was like, it's such a cliche.
Because no other fuckers do it. Well enough, quite frankly.
And it's better to like specialise in, because the car's got 30,000 parts over, so it's good to specialise in one part.
Okay, but in the future, might you say this?
I think like as time goes on, I'd like to then source other parts for a car. By then it might be something different. It might be electrical devices, and I might get a bit more tech savvy, like a plug or something.
But you always want to be a sort of expert in, and a specialist in something.
Especially with cars, because that's it helps.
And
the market is,
and the tech's constantly changing.
And the market has a lot of people doing everything, so it's nice to be doing one thing. If that makes sense.
And also giving it a face on social. I think it's really, really important.
And I've noticed since I've like learnt a bit more, and got a lot of younger cousins who will be like, "Hold the camera like this, you're doing this wrong." And I've seen, actually the reach is helping, and it's nice, and it's nice to see people supporting. Like I get a lot of other women, even men, being like, "Oh, that's great, do you have this?" Or they don't even see it as I'm a girl doing it, they just want the part. So it is slowly, very slowly changing.
Because I think even the car media world now, obviously it's all YouTube now, isn't it? It is all. There are no TV shows anymore, are there?
No. Oh, you mean like that? No,
like there's no Top Gear. There's nothing on TV, and also people don't watch TV anymore.
No,
but particularly those type of shows.
It's
are all on YouTube.
Social, and you've got quite a few ladies doing it, like Top Gear. Some of them are really good. There's a few different ones.
Well, I just think it's brilliant. I think what you do is fantastic, and I very much think you probably. So all in all, so how long have you been trained as a mechanic for?
5 years now.
Okay, 5 years.
And I've got like a lot quicker and better, and I've noticed, like, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I did that really quickly," you know. So and the weather plays a difference. If it's sunny, I'm like, I
was gonna say, you're actually quite good. It must be quite good in the cold, though.
I'm resilient. Because we're here for hours sometimes, and it's like a contained freezer box. You know.
Does it get really hot in the summer as well, though?
But it's beautiful in the summer. We take the whole table outside. You saw the view. It's really nice. It's nice.
She's in the beautiful countryside.
And then I bring my son and his friends, and they play in the fields, and
old school.
They get the fresh air.
Which is really important. Well, I think the future's bright for you. I think
thank
you're
you.
just, well, like you say, you've really in many ways, I think you're just starting out with all of this. And it sounds to me like you very much can and will go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like if all of a sudden the social really starts to take off.
Yeah, because I've had it recently where I'm like, whoa, I've got like 6 inquiries, 4 orders from this.
Yeah.
And I never thought, like, it's not even very, like, clear if you saw, but I'm like, wow, it does work.
Yeah.
And it's just by me explaining what I do.
Yeah.
Or I'm here, like, packing something. So it's just learning more about that. That's how the world is, I guess.
I think women generally, so showing up online is scary. It's daunting, isn't it? Because you don't want to get
the comments I get.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I get told, go back in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Has she been blonde her whole life? What's she talking about? Do you know what my reply is? Your mum.
Yes.
I was like, what, like your mum? Like your mum?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I remember one was like, why are you being so rude? I was like, but it's fine for people to be rude to me.
Yeah.
Like, would you say that to your mum?
Yeah. Do you know, I saw a TikTok, was it last night, with this woman that said punishment for like misogyny or something like that should be men or men's mums having to hear or them having to read out the comments they've made, the messages they've sent to women.
Yeah.
To their mums.
Yeah.
So punishment should be
their mum can see it.
so they can hear, and then I mean, how many mums would just be like,
oh
so
my God,
ashamed.
when I see it, and I'm just like, just by the parts, like, why you got to write these comments?
Yeah, it is.
Or they get like, oh, business must be bad for her because she's got a post like this. Yeah.
But
get a lot, but I just keep going because it's good, bad, whatever. There was one I posted where I was actually fixing a car, and I got questioned every little bit. And even some people were like, you're only asking her because she's a girl.
Yeah.
But the others, they were like, but why would you change that? Why would you do this?
Oh, yeah, mansplaining.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to let you get back because you're very kind of going. You've got to go and pick up your son. So, is there anything about your business or what you do that we haven't covered that you think needs to be shared?
No,
other than more women need to be doing it. That's a resounding thing.
No, I think we covered.
We're good?
Yeah.
In which case, I'm going to ask you my 3 questions that I always ask. And the first question is always, what life advice would you give your younger self? And it can be any version of your younger self.
Oh, any
version.
You have trained to be a mechanic younger because it hurts your back as you get older. That's the truth.
That's what I say, because I've missed out on my creek. Like,
but it's literally.
it's quite.
I tell the young girls or anyone, like, if you're gonna be it a HGV driver, packing, anything physical, do it younger because as you get older, you're slower.
The second question is, what life advice or what advice do you think your older self would give you now?
Oh.
So 70-year-old Natasha, what do you think she would say to you now?
Oh my God, that's a question, ain't it? Oh, what would she say? Oh. Maybe you should have had another child younger. Because then you've got 2 to look after you, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Or maybe, but career-wise, I would say, what would she have said? Stop getting distracted. All those times you got distracted.
Yeah.
On TikTok or like,
oh, we
just
all
to
do
focus.
Though.
Yeah. Maybe you should have focused a little bit more, you know?
Yeah. But also maybe, do you not think she would say to you just to trust yourself a bit more?
Yeah. I definitely feel as I've got older and I've studied and I've got more confidence.
Yeah.
I'm now less like, okay, before I would get really upset if someone didn't buy off me. I'd be like, oh my God, they don't, like, I would really have
They don't trust me. They don't. Yeah.
Now I'm just like, okay, you don't want it. I'm not going to call me anyway.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I think, maybe my older self would be like, good on you.
I think your older self would be really proud of you.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah, well done.
Cool. Okay, and then the last question is always is there a mantra or a saying that you just love and you live and die by that you want to share with anyone listening?
So I always say, don't worry about tomorrow. Like, we waste so much time worrying about tomorrow or next week, and that's wasting our time right now.
Yeah.
It's like I've had it, especially with business, where I'm like, oh my God, I've got to get these orders out.
Yeah.
And the client wants it at this date. And then it gets cancelled. Or I've managed to do it quicker. But all that time I spent the night laying awake worrying. Yeah. And I remember just being like, I need to stop. And literally, since I've been like that, it's good.
Really? So almost just like live
just by today.
Live
right?
now, live for now.
Yeah.
And what also,
Which
I
I know is such a
well, a more woo-woo way of saying that is to be present, isn't it? So be present now.
Yeah, which is such a cliche and stuff.
No,
But I've even
so
had
many
it.
people don't.
Yeah, I've even
We're
had it.
planning. We're thinking about tomorrow, next week, like you say. And I think that's women as well, because also we're like you're juggling a lot.
Yeah, so we plan like who's picking up your child, who's doing all that.
You live in the future. Your brain is in the future at all times.
But since I've like really stopped doing that, and I'm like, just for now, like, I'm just living for today, for the next hour.
You'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah, and now since I've done that with business and personal life, it's just better. So I just think people, and I know it's really easy said than done.
I know. Well, and like you say, sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't.
Well,
and that's also okay.
Yeah. Well, look at how I started. I took out a loan. I wasn't pregnant. 3 months in, I find out I'm pregnant. That's a prime example, and I'm sitting there worrying, like, what am I going to do? You know.
And it worked out.
Yeah, and that was like, whoa, biggest shock.
I know. We do spend so much time worrying
about
things that often don't ever happen.
Yeah.
It's also very female though, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course, when it's my time of the month, I'm thinking about, oh my God, this. That plays a massive. Yeah. We were talking about it today, me and the staff, and they were like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm due on, so I'm going to be a bit more agitated. Yeah. And they were like,
well done for communicating that, because there's still not enough dialogue goes on about that.
So at college, when I was doing my level 3, I remember just being like, look, it's not me, it's the week before.
Yeah.
And I do struggle with this. And they were like, oh, that's okay. And I burst into tears. And I'm a big woman, and I've burst into tears because they said someone else will assess me. And I was like, I can't cope. But the lady in the office, she was like, I understand. But it was one of the other teachers, a male, who had 2 daughters. And he was like, just come here, let me give you a hug. And he was like, I understand, and it's okay.
Yeah.
He was like, you're doing a lot. And I thought, oh.
But not enough dialogue like that goes on still to this day. Again, I saw another video the other day where this woman was sort of, and a guy across a desk was talking to her. Like, what's the matter? And she said, basically, my stomach and my uterus feels like it's being punched. Every 2 seconds, really violently. I'm in horrendous pain, but I've got to pretend that I'm not, because I'm not allowed to show that. She goes, what would you react like if I came over and I punched your balls? Like, I literally just got them and I just went bang, 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 bang. And he literally was just like, there you go. But you can't flinch. You can't show anyone that you've got that pain. You've got to carry on. Could you do it? And I was like, no. And it's exactly. Yet we feel like we sit there with pain, discomfort, everything else. And it's just got to be poker face.
And I think that's where I've gone to do my own business, because I know that really affects me.
Yeah.
And that's where I've struggled, like maybe being employed. Yeah. And as I've got older, I've noticed it's affecting me more.
Yeah.
When I work at the garage, the women are amazing. Yesterday, I was like, I don't know. They know. We all know. And it's really nice to be in that environment where they know. And even here, it's me, but
it's your rules. You can say it if you want to say it.
Which is why I want to even excel even more, because I couldn't imagine being employed by someone and having to explain, actually, I just feeling really low today.
Yeah, or I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah, or like I'm a bit agitated. And I don't mean it's not me by nature, but today, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Can't be like that.
More women need to say, more discussion is needed. It just needs to become more common, more normal, so it's not unusual.
Yeah.
So it's only when things become common that they're not interesting anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like,
whatever. Of course, She's just mad. She's psycho.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, thank you so much, Natasha. That's been brilliant.
This is so nice.
Watch this space, I think, everyone. If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and/or this role, then please go to our website www.twerk.org. The link is in this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.